I never know.
Oh, American flag's got to go on the left.
All right, how you been, all right?
A little laid back since the dedication, but just only 3 days a week.
Instead of 6, 7.
Yeah, we're down to that much, so.
All right, folks, I'd like to welcome you to committee meetings for Wednesday, December 7th. Before we fire off the health services, a presentation from Tim Broder.
Good evening, everybody. It's me again. Just kind of an update. Everyone should have a copy of this on the desk. This is the booklet that we made up for the dedication, the day of the dedication. And it's pretty self-explanatory, everything. There's stuff in there about us, but also, most importantly, there's a lot of research about the 17 names that are on our mini wall. And that's the more emotional aspects of it. And we have in the back just some of the donors and so forth that were there. But tonight we're here for a couple of other reasons. One, there's a list I put in there. We had 12 of the 17 families. You imagine that after over 50 years, we had 12 of the 17 families that were at the dedication. I think what, Jimmy, come up from Tennessee, there was one, Texas, another.
Texas.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Judge Malone is the president of the Memorial Fund, and he's in the back, and Jim Sills, the treasurer, been the treasurer of the Reunion Association and the Memorial Fund for what, 22, 23 years now. And just Tim Broder here, been here, done that. So I'm not gonna go over the information that's here for whatever, for what you need it for and everything like that. And I want to thank, there was a lot of people in here that helped us. Okay, not just through the Wayne Speedburn Fund, but personally behind the scenes and so forth. And thank you for that. And there's a lot that are still offering their help and so forth, which we will be looking forward to because we still have signage to put up. We're doing bronze signs and so forth in the area, lighting we still have to do. And I kind of turned down the first bid that we had a bid of $37,000 just for the signs. So you can imagine where we are between the monument and everything else. Pretty much everything is kind of paid for. And we still have a lot of bills and so forth that we owe a lot of the contractors and things that we use. And vendors are just kind of sitting on them for a while. And you know, if we have to, we've done it in the past with the reunions, we'll take money out of our own pockets. We'll make it work. There's not going to be anybody chasing us down or anything like that. So, and so we still, when the springtime comes around, the weather breaks, we'll be working on finishing things up over there. It's just the weather. Well, we thought the weather was going to shut us down, but 52 degrees, I'm dying coming out in this weather. Well, what we would like to do, Jim and Bud, come on up a minute, okay? Just a couple of quick presentations and then we will kind of be out of here. Let's see. Just something here, I kind of say a thank you. Years ago, there was the head of our country at one time, went around and did an apology tour around the world, apologized for everything we did in World War II and so, but whatever, needless to say. But we kind of call this our thank you tour. We've started off with a few already, but basically we made up some plaques. Actually, I had 55 plaques on my porch that we have to do visits like this, but that's the most rewarding part of this. The Northeast USA Vietnam Veterans Reunion Association of Greene County, New York, in reference to the Greene County Vietnam Veterans Monument dedication on September 17, 2022, we thank you for your support. The Greene County Legislature from the Northeast USA Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Thank you. And of course, I have to let it said that there's one more thing. Basically, again, the Greene County Vietnam Veterans Monument dedication, September 17, 2022. We thank you for your support. This is from the Northeast USA Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. And this is for the Greene County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, again, that's why when we made this appointment, Pearl Harbor, that was one of the few things I neglected to do today, because I'm the only one that has to crank for that 80-foot flagpole. Because I think a big email went around from the federal government that today all the flags are supposed to be at half mast. So the problem is I have to give a school on how to raise and lower the flag over there for the people of Greenville. It's not an easy thing to do and you can get carried away, but nonetheless, yes, remember Pearl Harbor, and we're not apologizing for anything. We're thanking you all. All right, everybody, God bless.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to open up Health Services Committee meeting at 6:05 p.m. Resolutions to get through. First resolution, authorizing agreement, Greene County Community Services Board with CHHUNY LLC, Children's Health Home of Upstate New York. Hobart.
True.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Amending resolution number 356-22, authorizing agreement approving individual provider contracts, preschool special education program.
Davis.
Lucas.
Davis and Lucas, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Approving individual provider contracts, preschool special education program.
Lennon.
Hobart, Lennon, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Authorizing agreement, Greene County Public Health Department and Capital District Physicians Health Plan, Inc., CDPHP.
True.
True.
Davis.
Davis, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing agreement, Greene County Public Health Department and Joshua Rosenfield, MD.
Davis.
Davis and Bluer.
I did have a lot of questions on this. Everybody
Ask that.
everybody get their questions answered.
Yes.
Everybody's good with that?
So this is the 600% increase.
Yes. This was a bid, by the way.
Laura is here to speak on that. If you have any questions.
So who else besides Dr. Rosenfield put a bid in?
Laura, do you know who else put bids
I
in?
didn't hear the question.
Do we know who else put bids in for this?
So this didn't go out for bid because Dr. Rosenfield, this was a renewal of his contract with an increase in his rate.
Okay, I misspoke.
Did you get the email from Laura?
Yeah.
Well, I did, yes, but I think it's still an astronomical rate.
Are we allowed to go out to bid on something like this every year if we so choose? On something like that?
I don't know that you can't put bids out on pretty much anything. Professional services. Professional services and put it in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge amount, you know,
It's a huge
It's a big
increase, but it's
increase
not
for
a
us.
huge amount.
right. But it's really not a huge amount for a yearly contract, given the duties of the job.
And the qualifications.
Looking at it.
Right. He was underpaid for years.
Yeah.
Right, that's
Yeah,
basically it.
we've gotten lucky for a long time.
Yeah. And we've been through 3 years of COVID. Obviously increased his burden to what he did.
Okay, so we had a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Authorizing agreement, Greene County Public Health, New Baltimore Animal Hospital rabies prevention.
True.
Davis and True and Bloomer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Budget amendment, Greene County Mental Health, New York State Office of Addiction Services.
Lennon.
Davis and who?
Lennon.
Lennon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Budget amendment, Greene County Mental Health, New York State Office of Mental Health. Handle?
Lucas.
Lucas, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Is there anything else to come before Health Services Committee this evening?
Just a question for Laura. I see nationally, we're looking at increased COVID numbers right now. How are we faring?
Not seeing a big increase. We're seeing the same levels of community spread, but not, and the wastewater surveillance, which comes in every week, every 2 weeks now, is also not seeing any huge increases.
So I got a question for Laura. This non-COVID flu seems to be going around here in Greene County. Any information on that? It seems to be a flu that's hanging on for weeks.
Non-COVID flu, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I know. I don't think it's COVID. I think it's a regular flu.
Well, so RSV has been very prevalent in our community, and in an adult, an RSV infection would look like a bad cold, so it could be RSV in adults.
See it increasing because my understanding is it's pretty prevalent in Greene County right now.
Yes.
And it hangs on for weeks at a time. Okay.
And we've been masking, so we haven't been getting the typical infections that we might have had. So our bodies haven't seen other viruses, which is why there's this huge increase in these childhood illnesses this year.
Thank you.
Anything else come before Health Services Committee this evening? Motion to adjourn.
Sure.
Make a motion.
Boomer and Hobart, we are adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tanya. I'd like to call County Resources to order at 6:11. We have a number of items here to move on. We'll start with the first one. This is a SECR declaration and approving the recommendations for including land into Ag District number 124. I need a motion on this. I'll make the motion. Second.
I'll second.
Overbought or linger. Any discussion? I know people have received emails, concerns about the ag district and how it operates and how they determine inclusion into an ag district. We have our planner here who may be fully equipped to explain the criteria, the guidelines that is used to bring forward recommendations. So James, if you'd like to.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I am planner de facto in the absence of a planner, but taking over the duties until we fill the position. So every year, the Greene County Agricultural Farmland Protection Board does meet to go over the annual request for inclusion to be included into Ag District number 124. There's a series of forms that need to be filled out that request information. A lot of it is data information, the parcel number, the location, landowner contact information, and of course, the use, the agricultural use. The goal of the committee and the major review they go over is to determine whether or not the use of the land is a viable agricultural use. And if they deem if it is viable, then it's on their recommendation to ultimately go to the legislature to approve the slate that they put forward. In past years, there have been declinations, there have been requests for additional information. This year, there was an approved slate to move forward in its entirety as applied for. So for this year, we had about 18 applicants. There's just over 1,023 acres that would be included into the Ag District, number 124. And the ultimate goal of the committee, like I said, is really just to go over and determining whether or not the applied uses are viable agricultural use. And according to the committee, every application was a viable agricultural use.
Now, James, does the committee receive those guidelines from the state? Is there a certain guidelines set forward by the state that pretty much tells them what falls into the categories?
Yes, there's legislation passed through Ag and Markets New York State that determines what is considered a viable agricultural use. And the committee does have access to that.
And there is a public hearing.
Right, next week, next Wednesday. Okay. Pat, what time is that public hearing take place? 6:25 or 6:15? So 6:15 is the public hearing. Public certainly can attend and air their concerns or.
Do you know why does Greene County and soil and water need a exemption on the ag district?
To be clear, everything that's proposed for next week is not to be an exemption. It's just to be included in the ag protection, which is to be included in the ag district, which pretty much just says the use of this land has been is seen as a viable agricultural use. And that's it. There's no exemptions. There's actually no monetary benefits being included in the ag district. It's just sort of a blanketed agreement that the use of this land is a viable agricultural use.
That's a separate step
Yep.
to apply for an exemption.
And that's done through the assessor, right? Each
Yep.
town assessment
And
office.
being in a district does afford the landowner special protections from nuisance lawsuits and so forth.
Anybody else?
Michael, a question for the floor.
May I ask a question?
Sure, go right
Hi,
ahead.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
What's your
May have been getting.
Oh, could you just state your
Oh,
name?
yeah, my name is Patricia Charbonneau, and I live in Maple Crest, where two of these projects are being proposed. I am here to educate myself a bit. I'm not going to say I have a lot of knowledge on this. I'm trying to get a handle on things, and I appreciate your time tonight. I'm just going to make a statement, I guess, and then I guess we'll save everything for next week. I'm not sure how things kind of
Fair enough.
go. Is that all right?
Sure.
So many communities in our area have seen unprecedented growth over the past few years, and Wyndham in particular is experiencing growing pains. The town is working with the planning board, the town board to organize itself in the best interest of the growth of the community. Progress with a plan, not chaos, to look back in 10 years and ask what happened to our community. And I truly believe we're all thinking the same thing. We want to protect this incredible natural resource that we have the opportunity to live in. I find in my time here that agencies come and go, people in power now, they move on to other jobs. One of the farms that's asking for this is listed as a resort property, a resort, luxury resort. So I just feel like there's many of us who have deep roots and truly care about the unique beauty of our valley. And we're the ones that are left behind with the repercussions after some of these other agencies or others leave. And it's all about decisions that we're making now. I appreciate it.
Sure, thank you. So we had a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Dorrington opposed? Motion's carried.
I'm gonna, I'll hope to keep carrying this through for now, and at least until I hear from the public hearing, a little bit more information on this. So, we don't have-
So on this motion, are you for or a nay then?
No, it passed.
Okay.
But
Yeah, when you said I agree with him,
we have to come back next Wednesday.
we'll get more information
That's
next
the
Wednesday.
meeting. to go on this As a full board. There's an opportunity, find out in the meantime that there's something there that they don't like.
Right.
By all means.
I would just suggest that we make sure, maybe talk with our county attorney, that the guidelines set forward by the state, that the Ag Protection Board approves, and then we decide not to approve because of personal whatever, but the guidelines are met. Do we open ourselves up to some problems, whether it's, litigation or anything. I think that it would be smart for that to be looked into.
Yep.
Before next Wednesday and.
I'll advise the attorney. for the issue.
Right.
Just,
Double check on that.
Chairman, I mean, if this is where it is, I mean, why, I'm not saying table it, but why is that, why have they even considered a decision to make or move forward until we've heard from the public?
Well, there's timelines to all of it. When we can do this, only once a year.
Well, I understand that,
So that's why it's here now.
just so,
This moves it out of committee.
well, I understand that, Warren, I'm just saying that this doesn't seem like an 11th hour thing, that's all, like, here we are
Right.
proposing it to bring it, I mean, why couldn't we bring this up and hear from the public 2 months ago?
This is the schedule we use every year. October is the period that all the applications are in. And it takes time to do that. And then it goes to the ag board in November and then it comes here.
Right, Tom. That's set forth by the guidelines through the state.
We have a little
They-
latitude, but
the
that's how we've been doing
application
it.
went
That's how
down.
we've been doing it for years, is
Right.
on this schedule.
Right.
You know, I'm
Have to
just
have
saying if
everybody
it's a
in
little
November.
more of what projects we're looking for consideration,
October.
and then that way it could be posted, and then the public would know, it'd be more transparent, that's all I'm saying.
How many projects is it?
But 18.
18. And you vote on them as a clump?
We, for example, last year, the board voted to pass all but 2 that requested more information. I believe that additional information was never received, so they were not included. You can approve them as a slate. You can pick and choose depending on the uses. It doesn't have to be included as one package.
Okay.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, we approve as a package. The board, the agricultural board, may not. But I think this comes to us as a package.
I think you're right on that. Again, our county attorney probably could clarify that.
Yeah,
We'll make sure
check
that.
on that.
So if we agree with everything but 1 or 2, you vote no.
It's all.
Well,
It's
all or none.
It's all or none.
That's the question.
Right,
That's the
is it
question.
recommended from the committee to us?
Tax ID numbers and leave it out.
Yeah,
Or not. And what you said, what's the ramification of doing that?
So if you could ask them also if we could vote on these individually.
Just be a
I know
different
from
resolution,
past
right?
years, when the resolution comes in, it's all of them listed, all in one resolution.
We'll have to check with the county attorney, but it's a recommendation from your board, but the ultimate decision rests with the legislature and the adoption of the included properties and the certification.
Just 18
Can we amend
separate.
the resolution -1 or -2? And still. people that are-
What if we don't even amend it? You have 18 separate resolutions and it's a roll call vote. You take it as it comes.
That's not how it's given to us. though.
And it's kind of what the agricultural board is.
That's their job.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but we appoint them. Why don't we make the recommendation that it comes to us before us in each individual resolution? Then you have a say in it. So if the shoe doesn't fit or you don't agree with something, everybody has a say into what you're gonna approve or what you're not gonna approve, not to slight anybody on that ag district board.
yeah, I think the first thing he's want to make sure of is if the state guidelines are met by these properties, 18 properties, then what cause do we have to deny that? And I don't know what you open yourselves up to.
Well, that'll come out next week because you can ask those questions. We'll be able to ask it and we'll have the,
Yeah, let's,
right?
For clarification.
I would think so.
The state ag and markets law has a list of what farming activities are eligible to be included within the district. And all of these are. The standard by which the ag committee reviews is this term called viable agricultural land. That's subjective. So the board looks at that, they talk about it.
Right.
There is a policy of the state and the county to generally put land into an ag district because of the benefits that are derived from that. And the board looks at that definition in the ag markets law. What the board does not do is they do not look at or approve the individual actual farming operation and the farming plans and the details. And I think that is what is being discussed on one or more of the applications.
Warren, is there anything different this year than that wasn't on last year? Anything different? In our process?
Procedurally, no.
Procedurally?
No.
Anything different in the context of it? Information included?
No, nothing unusual.
What at the public hearing, somebody from the public could bring something of concern that you don't know about or didn't realize, and then we would have to address it that night. Right?
So who would oversee that? Oh, once they're approved?
This board has the ultimate decision on inclusion of these lands.
Right.
We would check with the county attorney about how we would go about doing that. And we have the ability to hold a public hearing, you don't have to vote. We could do more research, we could check with every county does this. So we're not gonna be unique in terms of how counties have either taken a whole report, accepted some or included, or what their realm or authority is, to Mike's point.
So it looks like the county attorney is going to have an important responsibility here to
On
answer
the
our
process.
questions and brief us and, right, letter of the law, everything like that.
I would think it would be beyond our ability that if there is one or more properties that the board feels does not contribute to the ag district and justifies what that reason is, that the board would be able to say, we're going to take the recommendation from the ag board. We're going to exclude one or more of these properties and state the reason why.
I think though, what I'm asking is that, so they've been approved because they cover all the bases that they're required to do. 6 months down the road, now I'm making stuff up now, like there's no cows on the field. Now it's not agricultural anymore. Now it's a resort. Now it's something else. You know, who comes in to determine, well, now you've stepped out of bounds.
That's where your assessor comes.
That's your town
Says
building
so.
code, your zoning.
It goes into the district. It receives no financial agricultural exemption. That's a separate process. This is only putting land in the district. That's the action. It's an 8-year review. Used to be, before the law changed, you could only put land in and out of the district every 8 years. Now they several years ago, they changed it. Annually, you can include it. You can only remove it on the 8-year cycle.
Without penalty,
No, that's the ag exemption.
exemption.
That's the tax exemption. This is just viable agricultural land being put into the ag district.
Right, so say a farm stopped farming and wanted to develop their property, they would be liable on assessment, I believe.
There's a clawback.
For a clawback, right.
That's the ag exemption.
That's exemption, which is different than that.
Not
Right.
the ag farmland.
Right.
The district, not the ag district 1, 2, 4.
Chairman, currently, one of the properties within my town has 2 notice violations from my code enforcement, where illegal actions of the use of their property that may play a factor in this board's approval that they're not abiding by town statute at the moment with building permits and numerous other problems with the property code.
Well, Tanya, just for the record, that is Tom Point, town supervisor.
All right, so we could actually look into that a little further too on,
That may be powers vested in your board to make.
Well, that one is gonna be a headache for my board and my planning board. The individual has other properties in the town, and we've had ongoing issues with the property owners. And it's just gonna translate into this next piece of property. And personally, I feel they're using the ag district circumvent the town limits planning board and town board.
Is it contiguous with that land, Tommy?
That,
Is the property is it neighboring, touching each other? Is it contiguous?
no, there's a spot in between. These 2 properties are separate. One is a 210 acre parcel, and we've had issues at the town level with them, ongoing, without orders. We want to work without permits and so on and so forth, which I can bring that forward at the public hearing, not just tonight.
Right.
Committee meeting.
Carol?
I would like to change a yay to nay for now. I'm good. Can I change my vote on that?
I don't think you can.
Oh, no. I still vote no, darn it.
Was I saw the county soil and water there. And just wondering as to why they would need to be included in this district. If they're not, if they're not operating a business.
Right.
I just don't know what the need would be for this, other than, I think as Tom just alluded to, a circumvention of another procedure within a town.
But again, that takes place at the town level.
That takes place at the town level, yes.
Right. And I think what Warren stated and concerned many across with the right to farm laws is it offers a certain protection from nuisance suits, which is deemed whatever, maybe I don't know, there could be a whole list of them, but I remember back in the 90s, there was that right to farm law that got passed that strengthened people's ability to farm, not necessarily that soil and water, but I think soil and water's guidelines as a nursery stock, holding that nursery stock in hoop houses there, greenhouses, for the maturity, for the material plant center, I guess, is what the best name for it, for their plantings along their stream beds, wherever they're doing work or erosion's taking place. I think that falls in the guidelines of, okay, that for acceptance into the ag district. I think that's all it is right now. Again, we can hopefully get some clarification.
You have another gentleman on the floor here.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Feast. I'm a resident of Castle Island, land and Chris as well. I think I'd like to echo what Patricia is saying. There are significant reservations amongst the neighbors of Greene County Soil and Water that they are specifically applying for this exemption to circumvent planning regulations. Also, my understanding of the standard is that the agricultural districts are approved for viable farmland. And I'd like to reiterate that nothing is being farmed on this property. They are raising plants, but that does not a farm make.
If you go to the ag and markets law, it has a broad definition of what farming or farmland is.
Right, there's a lot.
And nursery stock is specifically listed or enumerated as one of the eligible activities.
Could like a sugar bush, that would be a farm, right?
I would think so.
I mean, because you're,
I don't have the list in front of me of,
with stuff like that,
It's called nursery stock.
but you wouldn't consider that a farm if you were looking as a person, but a sugar bush is definitely a farm, right?
Many people, I think.
No, I think a lot of this will be borne out in the public hearing. It should be. That's my concern.
Just one more. The Greene County Soil and Water. We're talking about, farmland, and I understand the nursery and I understand their plantings there. I live right next to them, so I'm looking at it all. That being said, I believe they're only asking to do 5 acres of the 11 acres they own, if I'm not mistaken. But the condition of the rest of the property is unsightly, and it's been for years. And I mean, I did send you all pictures of things, but I mean, I don't know why I have to live with this next to my house when they're gonna then be told, we're doing this great thing, we're doing nurseries for an agricultural district. I just believe that, I'm really hoping that and they also want to do, some more things there, which is not part of this meeting, I know, and they will be, that will be talked about, I'm sure, in our town when because they're proposing some buildings there as well. And when that comes to our town, I'm really grateful to the actual board of Greene County Soil and Water, because at their last meeting, they did say that if they did get this extra agricultural protection, they would still follow through with the town and go through the town planning laws and all that. So I'm really grateful to the gentleman here who are part of that. My concern then is who circumvents who, Is Greene County Soil and Water a county agency? Is it part of the DEP? Is it part of the watershed? So in other words, will they be able to override anything the town may, have issues with as they proceed? Because this is the first step of things with both properties in my mind, to be honest. One is trying to become a luxury resort. The other is moving on to then putting buildings and parking lots and yada, yada, yada. So
No,
these
the
are like
protections
steps,
would
and that's
be-
what concerns me.
Protections would be at the state level, because this is a state program.
Right.
So it would circumvent DEP, it would circumvent Greene County, it would do all of it. Whatever protections there are. Applied at the state level. We drag that on.
All right. It's just time.
We usually don't get this much
It's
attention, discussion, ag district included.
No, but
James,
normally,
I'm looking at it's 12.28 acres on the Greene County
I
soil.
just grabbed there.
or normally we don't have a soil and water district that's applying for these protections either.
Perhaps.
Like what I reported was the number of acres owned on that site is 12.28. There's a section here that says total number of acres crop/used for agriculture, and that's 5.35.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess what's reported is their total acreage.
Okay. All right. Everybody, we'll move on to their second action item, which is authorizing agreement with the Greene County Agricultural Society. I need a motion on this.
I'll make a motion.
Dorrington. Seconded. True. Any discussion on this one? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so carried. Next one, authorizing agreement, the community action of Greene County Incorporated. Lennon, Overbaugh. Any discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so carried. Next one up, authorizing.
Did you oppose that?
No. Authorizing agreement, Cornell Cooperative Extension Association of Columbia and Greene Counties.
Overall.
Overbaugh and True. Any discussion on this one? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Next one, authorizing agreement. It's our Greene County Sportsman Federation.
I'll second.
All right, Thorrington. Any discussion on this one? Lennon and Thorrington. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Oh, damn. Hold on one second, everybody. Somehow my fat fingers here. Trees down, we don't want to do that. No, I got it back. Hold on one second. I'm back in the game. Give me a second. No firing squad. All right, authorizing agreement for our Greene County Libraries Association. I need a motion. Overbaugh, second. True. Any discussion on this one? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Authorizing agreement, Soil and Water Conservation District. Just a note, Jim and I serve on that board. This is half of what their yearly budget is, and the other half is in the next resolution. It's been the same for Sean, 7, 8, 9 years. So I think they continue to get more funding through the watershed DEP. So anyway, I just wanted everybody to be informed of that. Need a motion on this one. Overbaugh, second. Lucas, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Next one, authorizing agreement, Soil and Water Conservation District is the Watershed Assistance Program. Need a motion on this? Overbaugh, second. Linger? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Next one, appointing a member to the Fish and Wildlife Board. This is Mr. Robert Montaloni.
I'll second.
Lennon and Thornton. This gentleman's from Haynes Falls. Glad to see someone up there doing it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so carried. Reappointing a member to the Board of Directors of Soil Conservation District, Mr. Eric Rasmussen. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Buelich will second that. All-
Thornton Village.
Thornton Buelich, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Next one's up are reappointing members to the Board of Directors of Soil Conservation District. That's myself and Jim.
Overblock.
Okay. Any discussion on that one? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Myself and Jim abstain. That ends the County Resources Committee meeting here, and unless anybody's got anything else.
Motion to close.
Close on Thornton, seconded.
Second.
Lennon, we are closed. Thank you.
Control.
I did.
Yeah.
Almost, Charlie.
Too bad Matt
What's that?
wasn't here.
Oh,
yeah. Maybe he's a-
Do we need a separate resolution, or could we do 10 or 11 as combined like that? Wasn't that resolution number 10?
We did both of them.
You did both at the same time?
No.
No, they were separate.
All right. Okay. Wasn't paying attention.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee to meeting to order at 6:40. With us tonight, we have John Farrell from the 911 Center and his new 911 Director Coordinator, Jim Turner. John?
Good evening, everyone. First, I'll go over the monthly numbers. For November EMS calls, we had 540. Fire calls, 189. Police calls, 1216. The unknown calls, 696, with a total calls of 2641. We had a total of 911 calls into the center, 4,853. Under mutual aid, we had 7 mutual aid fire calls. And on EMS, we had 44 move up or mutual aid into other sections of the county. Hazmat team, 1 call for standby for Columbia County. In fire investigation, we had a total of 3. 1 in the town of Coxsackie, 1 in the village of Coxsackie, and 1 in the town of Hunter. With the changes that have taken place in my department over the last couple of months, I have a letter going to Sean that the only open position, and I'm going to assign that. Dan King will be my deputy director in the department. Fire reporting for 2022, just so everybody is aware, we came in at 92.8%. Basically, what that gives us, the OFPC gives us a little credit at their training center of $750. So if we want to take a firefighter or a hazmat team, or if it members want to go out there to take on a course, it's a credit that we can use in January. Doesn't cover a lot, but it's something that they give to us, providing that we continue to, the fire coordinators continue to put the pressure on the fire districts to make sure they do their fire reports. One thing I just want to praise is this past month, Building and Grounds. They went into the training facility, into the burn rooms. They changed quite a few of our panels in both burn rooms. And I have to say they did an outstanding job. Fire training is going very, very well. There's 3 courses that are ending next week. And then January 3rd, we're meeting to put the 2023 schedule together. At this moment, I'd like to have our new 911 communication director, James Vernick, come up and say a few words. Jimmy's been in this position about 4 weeks now, and I have to say that he certainly has some outstanding leadership skills that he has brought to the table. I'm very proud of what he has done so far. Jim?
Good evening, everyone. Truly want to say how happy I am to be here standing in front of you tonight. After 13 years of serving Greene County as a dispatcher, taking on this new position as the 911 Communications Director is truly an honor. It's bringing with it a whole bunch of new challenges and exciting learning opportunities, and I look forward to it every day. So thank you for this opportunity. Just real quickly, our communications training officer program that we're currently using was implemented 6 years ago. It is reviewed after each trainee has successfully completed the program. It has taken our success and retention rate from around 50% all the way up to a 90% success rate and a 75% retention rate. After our most recent review, we've discovered that we've been able to trim our 6-month training timeline down to 4.5 months. We currently have 2 trainers or trainees in this new accelerated timeline. Dispatcher Jim Chewins is scheduled to complete his call taker phase on December 23rd, and then we'll move on to his fire and EMS dispatch phase at that point. Our newest hire, Dispatcher Bate Schultz, she is due to complete her academic phase on the 13th and will immediately roll into her call taker phase. We've just had 2 of our more senior dispatchers complete their communications training officer training, so they are now certified, which puts a primary and a secondary training on each of our day shifts. There is another class scheduled in January, and I'm hoping at that point to be able to add 2 more members to that crew who work on the overnights. Doing so will allow us to pass the trainees not only through their disciplines, but also through the crews that they're working with. So they don't spend their entire training period during the day with a certain set of people and then shift off to overnights when they're complete. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas have always been a rough part for us staffing wise at the 911 center. You add to that one of our members being out on maternity leave till the middle of January, and now the vacancy that my promotion has created. However, in the last 30 days, the staff has truly been stepping up across the board, not just a select few, to ensure that these vacancies are filled either through overtime or through swapping shifts to eliminate the vacancy occurring altogether. I have to truly commend the staff for all the work that they've been doing. Director Farrell and myself sat down this morning and had 4 people willing to work overtime on Christmas. That's almost unheard of. So I can't give them enough credit where credit's due. Hopefully, with the completion of Dispatcher Chewins' training in February, sometime between February and April, we can add to the staffing at that point as courses become available. That is all I have for you this evening. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Good luck, Jim.
Are we still bringing in a lot of the retirees and stuff part-time, or is that slowing down now?
At this point, Frasco and Snyder are filling a lot of the shifts, as well as Teddy Nugent. He's working at a much higher rate than his part-time hours. Okay. Anything else for anybody? Before I dismiss myself?
Good luck, Jim.
Thank you. Good luck,
Jimmy. Thank you.
Great job. Also with us is our EMS coordinator from the hotel. Anybody got anything to bring up?
Jimmy's crew's been doing an amazing job though with little less input for myself. They're getting used to the hang of things and moving stuff around, ensuring coverage. They all stepped up to the plate. They're doing an amazing job out there.
And I think last month I had reported about our new phone system, and Neil Culliver is in charge of that. It should be up and running by next Wednesday. So that's something that we're all looking forward to as well.
Sean, what about the diversion on these hospitals? Is it kind of lessened, or is it?
You can say no.
The hospitals, they're claiming they're looking into solutions, whether they be temporary trials or not. I heard St. Peter's is trying a new thing about putting more hallway beds with a LPN to kind of curb the ambulance wait times a little bit. Hudson's still been about the average that they have been going through. One other thing, we'll see if it puts a hiccup in anything, but next Wednesday at 6 in the morning, Kingston Hospital moves into their new campus, which is the old Benedictine Hospital. But their new expanded ER is same amount of bed count. They just have more room in the hallways and stuff if they need to do overflow. So we'll see how that one rolls out.
I can tell you, we had a call on the mountaintop last Thursday, and the gentleman was taken up to St. Pete's, and I was amazed at how fast by the time I got up to St. Pete's, he's already in, taken care of and everything. And there was not a line at the emergency room. I mean, inside there was, but there was no ambulatory backlash. I was amazed at how fast that went through and how quickly they took care of this person. It was good.
Good, it's good.
Yeah.
They're still all fighting with it.
In close, I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also this evening, we have the Sheriff Kuzminski.
Good evening, everybody. All right, so for the month of November, we had 148 civil attempts, 76 civil paper served, issued 109 traffic summonses, investigated 30 traffic accidents, made 28 arrests and 2 DWI arrests. We handled 489 calls for service, made 213 traffic stops, and did not enjoy enough game rescue kits this month. Wow. Shocking. Good. On November 1st, the starting jail population was 37. As of November 30th, it was 39. The high for the month being 43. Corrections officers did 33 transports, traveling 1,014 miles, totaling 61 hours, moving 42 inmates. And we still have 1 state-ready inmate in our custody. Our body cameras and car cameras are all in, and we're working with Provision and ITS to smooth out the workflow prior to going live with those. Just as a side note, there have been 2 gun-related violent incidents recently in the county. One was in Greenville on King Hill Road. It was a home invasion where 6 armed individuals entered a home, pistol whipped the occupants and stole an undetermined amount of cash from them. We caught 4 of them in Ravenna, but we're still looking for the other 2. We've identified them, but have not captured them yet. One of those also has a warrant from the state of Vermont as a fugitive for a similar type crime. So the other was just this past weekend where we assisted state police with an incident on Bogart Road in the town of Catskill, where 4 individuals stole 4 all-terrain type vehicles. It was 3 ATVs and 1 large UTV from the residents on Bogart Road in the town of Catskill. The owner woke up and chased them in his car for about 4 miles down Route 32. When they stopped and confronted him and fired several rounds at his vehicle, disabling it, causing him to then flee. So we did recover the ATVs and UTV, hidden off power lines behind Mossy Hill Road. Looked like they were going to come back for those, so the state police are looking for them. Hopefully they get some evidence to assist with that. So we are seeing an uptick in some violent stuff going on. We also started our LEAP program this month, which has already assisted 2 people. One was able to get his job back and the other is actively participating in treatment. And we've also got several social referrals from other police departments. So that's moving along pretty well. All I got.
While I had here, we hear anything on the cameras yet, Sean? Did IT give you anything?
We have the spec for this building being finished off. I hope to release the RFP next month. We did with the theft at the storage facility of buildings and grounds, we did rehab those. Those are up. 13 cameras are in. Talking to Craig this morning, he has the application on his phone, so it includes motion detection. So if at 2 a.m. someone's in the lot, he's going to get a notice, and that should help prevent the catalytic converter expansion thefts that we had. Out there. So we, Greg and I have gone through the specs, and we've got some tweaking to do, but I hope to do this. That'll be a big job for this building, because all the lines, all the wires have to be replaced. They're 20 years old, so it's not up to date with modern technology, so it'll be a big project. And then we'll eventually go through the other buildings.
It's interesting to see the jail numbers still up where they are. They are. And we're at 42 and 43 for several days as well.
Sheriff, on your car cameras, because IT said you're gonna have some issues with like the 4G to 5G, and is there some real?
I'm not an IT expert, and Sean, who happens to be right behind you, happens to be here. He's working on this, but there are some workflow issues, and it seems to be the download speed. So when the car pulls into any of the satellites or the office, it automatically is supposed to download. Deputy doesn't have to do anything. One car pulls in, it appears to be okay. If two pull in, things get hired rather quickly.
You seem to have solved that.
Yeah.
I didn't know, say you, one of your deputies in their car has an incident, but it's in an area where the technology is not allowing for a full body camera or car camera view of things. Is that an issue when it comes to?
No, those are standalone. That's standalone.
That'll
work anyway.
record or whatever. That's not.
Yeah. We have
internet related
they're
or
actually
service
functioning
related.
in the cars now.
Okay.
We had an incident this morning, actually, where even though they're not live, they may have helped us with a potential complaint that weren't.
They're actually stored through the DVR system in the car.
Oh,
So they're not connected via any kind of internet or anything until they
Right,
get
there's no
to
live
access point.
To the upload.
And then auto upload once it recognizes that network. And that's all on a secure VPN network. And then it'll encrypt it as it uploads it into our servers.
Okay.
So. But it's 360 all the way around the car, view wise, and then one on the inside.
Sign over that thing first.
Yes.
Is that activated just when you open the door or something to a deputy to get out of the
The
car?
cars they're on, but they're not recording until there's an event. So when they turn on the emergency lights, that activates everything. If they pull their gun, it activates everything. They pull a taser out of that. There's 5 triggers. Or the other 3.
Door.
Another car comes through, not the door.
But
And they can manually.
Flip to the bottom.
And if one car is on, another car pulls up, that car is also automatically turns on. It's pretty sophisticated.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some workflow things that need to be ironed out before we're fully. But the ones in the cars are working pretty well.
Where's that footage go?
The footage stays in the car
Video.
until it comes to either the station or a satellite.
And then it's transferred to.
Automatically uploads wirelessly through to the servers in our office.
And at that point, you retrieve it.
Sean does.
It's all stored on the server.
So you could go back at any time. And is there a date, 30 days or anything? Like that?
They're set at a minimum of 180 days because for the accreditation to the sheriff's
So the
office. they have
180 days they capture that?
180 days of event storage. Anything that's not triggered on an event is on a loop recording, which you'll get a few weeks out of on the average car. So if it's something that they didn't have their lights on or manually activate an event, we can go back and request that footage from those time periods, as long as it's not been overwritten 3 or 4 weeks down the road. And then we can manually store those individual events as well.
Okay.
That you came from.
Me too.
Anything.
The sheriff's turning me into an IT guy somehow.
So here's another question. Wasn't get them all out. So the cameras that you're gonna be wearing on you, your deputies. So when you pull a vehicle over and you walk up to the vehicle, that camera automatically on, or do you have to activate it?
If you pulled them over, it was on. It actually goes back a minute. When you turn it on, it actually starts recording the minute before you actually activate.
So you get out of the vehicle, you address the driver, that's all being recorded.
Not only on the camera, but the car.
The car.
So when the police chief's asking me,
Yeah. Yeah.
Forgiven. Oopsie.
It's an interesting way.
Oh, yeah.
There's definitely gonna be some growing pains.
It'll exonerate more often.
It will. Any other?
That's it.
Wish you all a happy holiday and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, we have one proposed action item, and it's appointing a member to the Stop DWI Board of Directors.
Handle.
Martinez and Handle, motion in a second.
I'll second that too.
Okay, all right.
We do it back.
Second also by Legislator Lennon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carry. Motion to adjourn,
Handle.
Handle Martinez.
Okay.
Adjourn.
That's a very spirited meeting tonight.